Could a notorious con artist, the founder of the Billionaire Boys Club, be working on a new scheme from prison?
Well, Joe Hunt has been sentenced to life without parole for murder, but now he's hoping to get released.
CBS2's Chris Holmstrom is live in downtown L.A. with the story. Chris?
Yeah, Pat and Jeff, Joe Hunt has been trying to get out of prison ever since he was convicted of murder, but now he's hoping Governor Jerry Brown will help him out.
Do you remember Joe Hunt I was telling you about? Joe is a genius.
I would love to hear your investment strategy.
From a motion picture to a miniseries, the story of the Billionaire Boys Club has been making headlines for 3 decades. Joe Hunt was the leader of the club, a group of wealthy young guys who started a Ponzi scheme to make money. Then in 1987, Hunt was convicted of killing Ron Levin, a con artist investor, but a body was never found. Alexandra Kazarian is a former public defender. She's now in private practice as a trial attorney, and she's been following Hunt's story.
Joe was convicted of murder, but the defense the entire time was that he's actually alive and that he's actually a con artist who's conned his way into skipping out on bilking this Billionaire Boys Club.
Now, 31 years later, he's making headlines from prison.
Please look around. If you feel so moved, I would greatly appreciate it. My family and my wife would greatly appreciate if you considered signing the online petition.
An online petition to free Joe Hunt. He's hoping Governor Jerry Brown will give him the chance to go before a parole board, proving that he's changed since being locked up.
The argument is that he has created men's groups in prison, spiritual groups, that he's led these spiritual groups, that he's been a model citizen.
But despite those changes, Kazarian says this is a hard case to fight.
I don't see that community support behind him, where people are championing for him.
I also spoke to a retired detective from this case. He tells me he strongly opposes Hunt getting out of prison. As for the governor's office, at this point, they are not talking about this case. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Chris Holmstrom, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Chris. Breaking news now. A SWAT team surrounded an unlicensed pot shop in Tarzana for hours looking for 4 robbery suspects. But when officers finally got inside, they got quite a surprise. There were no suspects or hostages in the building. CBS 2's Lori Perez is live in Tarzana, where that standoff just ended. Lauren.
Well, Pat, police say they were working with the best information they had and perhaps an abundance of caution as they did handle this for hours as a potential hostage situation. But then tonight you can see there is a shattered glass on the street and sidewalk just after 8 p.m. SWAT teams forced their way into the building behind me, blowing out that second-story window and serving a warrant of what they say is an illegal pot shop. Police had responded there just after 1:30 on reports of an armed robbery with 4 suspects. Within minutes, officers had shut down a stretch of Ventura Boulevard and were getting other tenants out as they geared up for a potential hostage situation. For hours, they worked on the belief that at least one suspect was still inside with a woman, possibly a victim, who had called police from inside. One man working nearby says police surrounded him as he left for lunch.
That's when the cops stopped me and had, guns drawn on me and told me to have my hands up. Then they put cuffs on me and questioned me and called the office to verify who I was. And then they took the handcuffs off me.
In the end, when police entered the dispensary, there was no hostage and no one at the business. Police now believe the 4 suspects got out seconds before their initial arrival. It's unclear yet if any property was taken. This afternoon, police did take one person into custody for a while, but later determined he was not involved and released him. Again, they are on the lookout for 4 suspects, 4 men who they believe were involved in this alleged robbery. We are live in Tarzana this evening. I'm Lori Perez, CBS 2 News.
Lori, thanks for the update. The transgender community is outraged at President Trump.
Is this a revolution or not?
Activists gathered in downtown L.A. tonight to rail against the Trump administration's potential rollback of a proposal to protect the rights of transgender people. Similar rallies were also held in other parts of the country today, including outside the White House.
Well, from bitter rivals to BFFs, President Trump is campaigning hard for Senator Ted Cruz.
The president now is calling his relationship with the Texas Republican a love fest. CBS2 political reporter Dave Bryant here with why both are so excited that they're reunited.
It was an interesting night because the two did embrace, right, on the one hand, but the president had some other words for some other folks that we all know. President Trump tonight had some harsh criticism and name-calling for two prominent California elected officials, both women. But on the other hand, 2 years after Mr. Trump and Ted Cruz were calling each other every name in the book, they hugged it out at a campaign rally in Houston, Texas tonight for Cruz, who's in a tight race for re-election. President Trump and Senator Ted Cruz buried the hatchet and hugged each other enthusiastically in a sign of unity and reality, that they need each other to re-elect Cruz to the Senate and retain the Republican majority there.
In just 15 days, the people of Texas are going to re-elect a man who has become a really good friend of mine. You know, we had our little difficulties, right? And it got nasty,
to say the least.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward.
Turning the 2016 GOP primary season into a name-calling hate fest.
This man is a pathological liar.
He can lie with the best of them. This is lying Ted Cruz.
But on Monday, that all changed.
To me, he's not lying Ted anymore. He's beautiful Ted.
But at that rally in Houston, the president's love fest with Senator Cruz soon turned into an attack session against two women, elected officials from California, one white, one black, and one whose last name he mispronounced.
Senator Dianne Feinstein. The mayor who did one of the worst jobs of any mayor.
But he saved his most intense ridicule for his #1 target, Los Angeles Congresswoman Maxine Waters. An attack including a charge that she has a low IQ that some of her supporters believe is racist.
The great Maxine Waters, that's a beauty. Low IQ individual. Low IQ.
Now, with 2 weeks to go, President Trump is really turning up the heat on the Democrats, as we saw, holding big rallies in red states and escalating his criticism of the Dems. And by the way, it's been 30 years since Dianne Feinstein was the mayor of San Francisco. I'm not sure how relevant that criticism is today. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Dave. Well, more than 7,000 Central American migrants are still making their way to the U.S. despite President Trump's threats.
The group is in Mexico, about 1,100 miles from the U.S. border. Now, the Mexican government has processed more than 1,000 migrants that have asked for refugee status.
Now, Hurricane Willa, it is causing a mess in towns along the Mexican Riviera, and that has turned a luxury cruise into a massive headache. A ship bound from L.A. to Mexico is being rerouted.
But some passengers have issues with what the crew actually knew.
And CBS2's Brittany Hopper is live in San Pedro with more. Brittany?
Well, Pat and Jeff, many cruise ships leave from here and they end up in Mexico. But this ship, well, it ended up in San Francisco. This is video of a Norwegian cruise ship's pool area. It's usually packed with the 4,000 passengers on board, but it's empty. Charlene Zankich, her daughter, is one of the 4,000 passengers on her honeymoon.
The people are disgruntled on the boat. They're not happy.
Not happy because the ship was supposed to go to the Mexican Riviera. But because of Hurricane Willa, which is headed toward Mexico and is already causing many tourist destinations to close down, the ship went to San Francisco instead.
I'm upset because the transparency wasn't there. You knew when you left this dock in San Pedro, when that boat launched, that Norwegian Cruise Line and the captain made the decision to reroute and change the itinerary. Why not let the passengers know?
Passengers are demanding answers as to why they weren't given the option to rebook before heading out to sea. We called Norwegian Cruise Line, but it was after hours and no one answered. For Charlene's daughter, she says the newlyweds saved for months to spend $5,000 for their honeymoon cruise, thinking it would be filled with laying out in the sun and swimming. Not this.
Heard that Norwegian Cruise Line bills themselves as being top dog, and today they were not top dog. They were something that you leave on the sidewalk from the dog.
Now, the ship is expected to be in Ensenada, Mexico later this week, then back here in San Pedro Saturday morning. We're live tonight in San Pedro. Brittany Hopper, CBS 2 News.
A bizarre twist. The woman at the center of this viral video explains why she abandoned a 2-year-old boy right at the doorstep of a stranger's house.
Mega Millions is now a mega billion, and with $1.6 billion up for grabs, people are lining up for their chance to win. I'm Christy Fajardo. That story coming up.
Also, it looks like a scene from a comedy when 2 accused crooks make a run for it. Wait until you see who chased them down.
The boys in blue, they're in Boston getting ready for Game 1, the latest on their World Series quest. It is ahead in sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Kemp. Wow, beautiful shot out up by the airport. Forecast, it's on the way.
All right, Garth, and here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.